When you go to improvise over tempos at 200, 250, and even 300 BPM for the very first time, it can be absolutely terrifying. Trust me, I know I've been there. But in this video podcast lesson, I'm going to be giving you 5 of my best tips to handle those fast tempos so that when you do get into that situation, you are improvising at super, super fast tempos, you can sound like a pro. Now, you can integrate these tips today. They're very easy, and trust me, they'll make you sound amazing. My name is Brendan Lowe, creator and founder of jazzpianoschool.com. Don't forget to check out the website to see all the other amazing free education we have. And if you're interested in taking some next steps, there is a membership, many courses, and even a live teaching program available as well. With that being said, let's dive right in.
All right, so here we are. The first way to tackle fast tempos with your improv. Number one, you probably guessed it, it's going to be space. Just leaving space is okay, right? It's okay to leave space. You don't have to play a lot. So I have Olio. I essentially have rhythm changes queued up here with iRow Pro at 250, okay, which is definitely getting up there, right? And I'm just going to play a couple things here and there. I'm not even going to use my left hand. I might comp 1 or 2 things, but just leaving space is okay. It allows you to breathe. It allows you to process, and it allows you to kind of think about what you're trying to do instead of getting flustered and overwhelmed. Here we go. Lots of space, right? Again, just leave space. Right, leave space. Now there's no like system to this or anything. I'm just letting myself get ready for what I'm gonna play, right? And again, even if you're not an advanced player, even if you're a beginner player, just stick to something simple, just an octave. Like a lot of times I was just playing octave. So space, just leave space. It's such an easy thing that I really don't hear students do that much. Like when that fast tempo comes on, they feel like they have to play constant eighth notes the entire time. You really don't have to do that. This is a really easy way to tackle that, okay? The second one is going to be a horizontal improvisational approach instead of a vertical. Now, in rhythm changes, we have lots of changes. B flat 6, B flat major 7, G7. Obviously, there's lots of variations to rhythm changes. So, if I say a chord and you're like, oh, that's not the chord, Brendan, right? There's lots of variations, okay? So just bear with me. C minor 7, F7, D minor 7, 6, 2, 5, 2, 5 to the 4, right? So we got lots of changes. So you could think about every single chord change, trying to hit all the chord tones. Right, whatever it is, like that's a really, really difficult thing to do, trying to nail all those chord tones on every single chord at 250. Now, that's the vertical approach where you're thinking about every single chord. The horizontal approach is where if you analyze the progression and you see that it's in a certain key, we're in the key of B flat here, and all of these chords, for the most part, are just B flat chords. They're just B flat chords. So if you see sections in tunes, especially in rhythm changes, or tunes that have lots of chord progressions from the same key, then you can just play over that key whatever you want. One of the easiest ways to do this is with the blues. So I can play B flat blues the entire time. Right? And again, I strongly encourage you not to play much of anything. Just try to keep it light, simple, and all I'm thinking about is B flat blues the entire time. Now, for my left hand, I'm going to do here, a great rhythm changes thing you can do is I'm going to go from my B flat 6, C minor 7, diminished, back into my B flat 6. So this is really kind of a B flat 6 chord I'm playing, C minor 7, D flat diminished. This is a great pattern you can use for your left hand, and I just use this throughout the entire time. So here is the horizontal approach, all right? Now the bridge Didn't really talk about the bridge, but the bridge gets into some different harmonic changes, right? We have a lot of secondary dominant movements, okay? So this particular case, you do kind of really have to think about a vertical approach for those two measures, but that's okay. Just it's one chord per every two measures. So you can think all D7, right? And don't kind of disregard even just the simplest bebop scale. A little passing tone between the 1 and the 7 will do wonders for you, right? But I'll give you an example of the blues again. I can play any sort of blues, and again, I'm thinking over a horizontal improvisational mindset here. I'm not thinking per chord. I'm just thinking one texture the entire time. Here it is again. Okay, so again, I started my first run here on the D7, right? Just running down a bebop scale. So again, per chord here on the bridge, all I'm thinking is D7, and I just ran down a scale. Now, obviously, you have to practice your scales a little bit, but that's, you can think Mixolydian. I recommend thinking bebop scale because it's going to align your chord tones on the downbeats. Here's my D7 bebop scale. Here's my G7 bebop scale. The bebop scale is just a passing tone between the 7 and the 1 of your Mixolydian mode, okay? So that's going to be number 2, think horizontally. The next thing that I love that I really don't hear students do enough, that I do so much, which is so much fun, is just take a break. Take a break from improvisation. Improvisation isn't just your right hand improv. Improvisation is everything you do on the piano. So that includes comping, right? You could have fun with chords and comping, and doing this, right, is a lot less technically taxing on your mind, your body, your hands than playing straight eighth note bebop lines the entire time. Just comp, right? And again, if you're just kind of comping the pattern that I just showed you, maybe just doing this, right? Or something like it. And again, I could just comp shells, whatever it is. So here's what that sounds like. I'll solo a little bit, and then I'll just comp, and I just take a break, and it kind of puts me at ease, allows me to relax a little bit, and then I can go back to my right hand flurry of lines, right, over this fast tempo. Here we go. So I took a nice break. I mean, even for me, this is a fast tempo, right? I'm working here, okay? You know, a lot of things that I teach on jazzpianoschool.com in these videos are pretty easy for me, but like this is, I wouldn't say it's easy by any means, but I'm working. I'm having to concentrate here for sure, okay? So that's a nice comping break is a way to do it, and I could have comped way less. I was comping a lot here. Here's what a way less comping might sound like too. Very sparse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, dot, dot, dot. Along with this type of thing, I just want to kind of go into the way that you feel the time. I could have made this a point in itself. I probably should have in retrospect, but if you feel the time in regards to the tempo instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, that's going to cause a lot of anxiety. So a lot of times when I'm feeling the tempo, this really should be another point in here. So bonus point right here. When you feel the tempo, I feel it usually in whole notes. 1, 1, 1, 1. So I see a lot of people furiously tapping their foot or like bouncing up and down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, right? Breathe. Just feel the tempo. Subdivide the tempo by whole notes. 1, 1, 1. You can even subdivide the tempo by 2 full measures. I could go 1, 1, right? And so that's me feeling the tempo in a much easier way, just 2 full measures. Check it out. Here's what it might sound like if I was just comping. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. This is, again, 2 full measures. I can even talk and play, right, at the same time. It gives me that much space. Space. I can do everything with my hands, right, and just wave them back and forth. I have this much space. It's so much easier, right? So that makes it way easier than thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. I mean, the bass player and the drummer, they have it the worst. Well, you know, solo piano is a different ballgame. I'm just talking about rhythm section playing right now. If you're improvising in a rhythm section, or if you're doing solo piano and you're playing at this speed, power to you, because that is really, really hard. You're walking bass note, you know, and that is a very, very hard thing to do, or stride. That is a very high level, right? So I'm just talking about rhythm section playing right here. So comping to take a break and how you feel the tempo. I kind of give you a bonus one there. Number 4 is going to be patterns. Diatonic patterns are very easy to do. I hear players do this all the time. I don't use them that much, but I will do them in certain cases. Like, so if we take our B flat major scale, my C is sticking here. Gotta fix that today. Right? Patterns, you can go up by triads. You could do G minor here, yeah. You can do 7th chords. You can do fourths if you want to get a more modern sound, right? You could just do up a third, down a third. So here's what some patterns might sound like. Or even if I just do octaves like up the scale, that's a pattern. I might go 3 up, 3 down. 3 up, 3 down. So just little small patterns are always great, and they can just be diatonic, okay? Here we go. Space, space. Down. Right? Sort of patterns. Again, you might want to obviously shed some patterns at first. Again, I hear a lot of people go up and down 7th chords. That's a really good one to use. And again, if you want more of that modern sound, any sort of 4th voicings will always give you like that patternistic sound. Not one I particularly use that much, to be honest with you, but it is a great thing that I hear players do. And finally, rhythms and motifs and groove. You've already heard me do this a lot. But at this tempo, and especially even if you get into, depending upon what skill level you're at, as you get into higher tempos, you're going to feel anxiety. You're going to feel the pressure and stress to play a lot of notes, and you just don't have to. You just don't have to. It's about the groove. If you create repetitive rhythms, that's what's going to sound good. You really don't need a lot of lines. And in fact, if you play lots of 8th note lines and I'm listening to you play, I won't remember a single one because everything's going by so fast, right? But if you played a repetitive rhythmic line, I can latch onto that as a listener and be like, oh, I can actually hear what they're doing. If you're playing a constant flurry of notes, I have no idea what that is. Like, I don't really know what you're playing. It's just lots and lots and lots of notes. And a lot of the time, it's pretty overwhelming to the audience and even yourself, right? So here's what repetitive motifs would sound like at this tempo. Nice, easy, space, repetitive grooving, okay? Here we go. keep going forever with just lots and lots of repetitions, and guaranteed you could sing back a lot of what I was doing. I was just staying on one note, right? You could just repeat that, right? It's kind of like they're like background lines, that you might hear a horn section do in a big band or something like that. Kind of like old school stuff, right? Really, really fun stuff. And these sound great over fast tempos. Any tune too, it doesn't even have to be rhythm changes. But if you just focus in on the groove and repetitive rhythms, this is really, really going to sound great over fast tempos. And people are going to be like, oh, I love that. If you can't sing something back, it's probably too many notes, right? Really focus on creating melodies in those repetitive rhythms. So hopefully that was helpful. Go ahead and put these into play in the next super fast tempo that you use. Hopefully after you work on them a little bit and put them into action, you're going to be much better at handling these high tempos up in the 250s and even up to 300. So with that being said, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll talk to you later.
Well, if you enjoyed that video lesson, definitely go ahead and subscribe to the Jazz Piano School YouTube channel, because we release a new lesson video just like the one you saw every single week. And we have other content educational series called Tips, Tricks, and Transcriptions that we release every single week as well. And don't forget to go to jazzpianoschool.com to check out all of the other amazing free education available there. And if you're looking to take some next steps on your jazz piano journey, we do have a membership available, many courses, and even live teaching programs that allow you to work with myself and my staff of Jazz Piano School educators. My name is Brendan Lowe, creator and founder of Jazz Piano School. Thank you so much for watching, and happy practicing.